We're going to combine days 30 and 32 because we spent them both in the same area at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. The Safari Park is fairly far out of town, and so it's going to take a while to drive there. In 1972, Dr. Charles Schroeder, the head of the San Diego Zoo, decided to build a breeding facility where the Safari Park is now to breed animals that are going extinct. It has now turned into a zoo in its own right, but they still breed animals here in order to trade with other zoos. The downtown San Diego Zoo is about 100 acres. This is 3 square miles, about 10 times its size. About half this area is kept in a natural state, and then half of what is left is used for large habitats. The rest is a world-class zoo. On day 30, we're going to be looking at this area of the zoo, mainly the zoo itself, and not at the habitats, which we'll look at on 32. Let's get started. There are 2 types of flamingos in this group. The lesser flamingos are smaller with a black and red bill. The Chilean flamingos are the larger ones with the black-tipped white bill. Here we were able to look over the African plains. We'll be out there in 2 days. We have a world botanical garden with many rare plants in it. Let's look at a few of them. Desert bighorn sheep are all female. They'll bring a male in when they want to breed for babies. This is the only zoo outside of Australia that you can see a duckbill platypus. It's right there where the mark is. See it? It's kind of dark and hard to see, but now he's swimming toward the center with a worm. This is what he would have looked like if you had the lights on, and this is what a baby looks like. They're really cute. Let's run that again in slow motion, and maybe you can see the duckbill platypus here. This is infrared vision. Wallabies look a lot like kangaroos, but they're about half their size. As you can see in this one's pouch, there's a baby, a fairly large baby. And now as she gets up, you can see it even more with its legs sticking out. This is the male. And here you can see that the baby has its head sticking out now. It's about half as big as his mother. I was never able to figure out what kind of duck this is, but they're so beautiful I wanted to show them. We're going to look at the western lowland gorillas both days. These are some pictures from day 30. And later on we'll see day 32. They had a pen with various young animals in it. Probably they'd just weaned off their mothers. There's Gearanook, an African springbuck, a Nile leechu, and also a young black duke-ear. And this brings us to the end of day 30. On day 32, we'll be looking at this area of the safari park. As said before, we'll go back by the western lowland gorillas. Deborah loves to look at them. And then we'll head on down the Africa Trail looking at animals along the way. The Gearanook is one of those unusual looking gazelles. It's got a very long neck, and it's kind of the gazelle equivalent to a giraffe. This is a male on the left and a female on the right. They use that long neck standing on their back legs so they can reach higher in the trees for food. Lappet means those folds on top of its head, so lappet face means a folded face. Out in the marsh, which is in the reclamation ponds, we run across a lot of different birds. Some are wild birds that just fly in and live here and nest here, and others are the ones that they actually have for their part of the zoo. They say if they can fly, they're wild. This is papyrus. This is what the Egyptians used in olden times to make paper out of. Listen carefully to this cheetah as we go through and look at its pictures, and you'll hear what a cheetah call sounds like. This bouncing of the lizard is a way of intimidating its rivals. And now it's time to head out and look at the large habitats. There are two ways of doing this. One is by truck, which actually drives out on the habitats themselves, or we can go by carts, which go around the outside edge of the habitats. Carts have an Asian and an African tour. We decided to take the Asian and African cart tours and not ride on the truck. We'll be taking both an Asian tour and an African tour a little bit apart. Our guide for both is going to end up being Amber. On the Asian tour we take first, we have to drive around the East African habitat. I will combine all of the pictures and video that I have of each species of animal in one place, like these Cape buffalo, even though they may have been taken on different tours and at different places around the tour. This baby is 6 weeks old and about 10 feet tall. The greater flamingo is the largest of all of the flamingos, and they're a fairly light pink compared to many of the others. This is because they live on salt flats in Africa, and this makes them less visible. The large antelope here is a Kenyan impala with the Thompson gazelles. We've now made it to the 30-acre Asian habitat and are looking around it some at the various species of animals from Asia. The one that sticks out most is the greater one-horned rhinos. Notice they look like they have plating on them that separates them from all the other rhinos. And this baby is about 6 weeks old, as this one is. Bentang are wild cows from Asia, and these are all females, the tan ones. The male is a dark black like this one. These tan deer are Barasinga from Asia. You can see their antlers are still growing out since they have the velvet on them. In this mixed group of animals, the smaller ones are Barasinga, but there's also Banting, Nigali, and also a few other animals mixed in with this. Przewalski's horse have actually become extinct in their home range and are now being reintroduced by those that are bred in zoos like this one. We've now finished the Asian tour and have gone off to look at some of the zoo exhibits, like the African lions. And they have wild cottontail rabbits. Notice over on the left is a baby. Now it's time to head out on our African tour, and yes, Amber will be our guide again. This is the South African habitat. It has water on one end and dry on the other end, and it's about 30 acres. Note these are gravy zebra with the thin stripes, not like the Grant's zebra that you normally see. We see wild California mule deer in several different places. Notice they're growing their antlers and so they still have velvet. This is the male group of bighorn sheep, but there's also another animal in here with them that looks very similar to them. This is the Trans-Carpathian Ural, and this is a male. They have the long beard. We'll take one of the males out of here and put it in with the females that we saw earlier for breeding time, so they don't get inbred. And this is a Maasai giraffe. It's different than the reticulated giraffe we saw earlier. Notice it looks almost like handprints on its side rather than rectangles. And the one on the right here, the darker one, is the male. Somali ass are also being bred to return to the wild. At one time there were only 20 in the wild. Now there's several thousand due to reintroductions. These kudu are all male because they have horns. Females don't have horns. Our guide said that one way to tell about how much food animals have is if males and females both have horns, they have to fight over the food. If only the males have horns, they only fight over the females and food is abundant. These are Sitatunga males, you see. They have horns. This is a female. Black rhinoceros is not really black, it's gray like the white rhinoceros, but it has a prehensile lip so that it can pick up small things. They have two here, a male and a female. The male is the smaller one on the left. And now we've finished the park and it's time to head back to our hotel for the night. On day 30, we take a detour and go to the Castillo National Monument. It's actually on the other side of a naval base, and the only way to get down the peninsula is to drive through that Navy base. And you can see the various buildings along the way, including a fire station for the Navy base. There's also a national cemetery here, and we'll be driving through it also to get to the Cabrillo National Monument. As the Spanish explorer Cabrillo came along this coast, he found this peninsula, and this is where he landed and set up a marker claiming this area for Spain. Now we can go right on around the line because we have the passes for seniors and don't have to wait to buy a pass and head on into the park. It's not a very large park, just a few hundred acres, with a lighthouse, a visitor center, and a monument, and a great view of San Diego. We drive past the Visitor Center for now with its monument out back, and we're going to go on and park our car. As we pull in, you can see San Diego and all its beauty. We look at the lighthouse for a few minutes, and this is what it looks like, not over the trees. And then visit the monument with Cabrillo standing there overlooking San Diego. Now let's look at San Diego some more. There's the airport close by us. And out there sailing, it's a pirate ship. This pirate ship is actually a cruise around the port of San Diego that you can take. And now it's time to head back around to San Diego and our hotel for the night. We arrive at our hotel, the Bayside Inn, Best Western Plus in San Diego, and that ends our day 30 and 32 that we've combined here.